안녕하세요, 여러분. Welcome to KSTYLEYO. Today we're gonna be learning Korean through Korean article. This article is very interesting because it's gonna be about Korean SAT, which is standardized test. SAT is more like American version, but Korean we also have Korean version called Sunu. So this article is all about Korean SAT. And some of you probably heard about it or don't know about it. So this is a great way to learn Korean culture. And as you know, article is a fantastic way to learn Korean because you get to know all the Korean structures, proper structures. And some words are not really used in speaking format. That's why you get to learn some difficult words at the same time. So Korean article is an amazing way to learn grammar, sentence structure, and some new vocabulary. So if you have a pen and paper ready, please pull out your dictionary too because it's gonna be highly interactive learning. So I'm gonna ask you questions throughout live streaming and you can answer them in the live chat. And this article link is in the description down below. You can study on your own time because the article is fairly long and it's got a lot of photos. So if you want to take time to read the article on your own, then please do so. Hello everyone, welcome. Rachel, Francesca, welcome everyone. So let me know if you can hear my voice well. So I have picked about 5 different sentences today. And as we get to 5th one, it's gonna be actually most challenging. First one is actually one of the easy one. So we get to start and warm up our Korean. And let's see. Can you guys see well? Let me know if you have any issue to look at this article. 수능이 온다. SAT is coming. So I'm not gonna read the entire article, but I'm gonna pick the one that I already pre-selected. So this is the one. 2021 학년도 대학 수능 능력 시험 시험일이 19일 앞으로 다가왔습니다. 2021 학년도 대학 수학 능력 시험 시험일이 19일 앞으로 다가왔습니다. I'm gonna read a bit more slowly. You can read through together. 2021 학년도 대학 수학 능력 시험일이 19일 앞으로 다가왔습니다. It's got so many photos here. Actually, when I was reading this article, it just brings me back to the old memory when I was in high school. It's really a stressful time of my life actually. But everyone has to go through that because the education is so emphasized within Korean culture and just the entire family or the school itself or competition between friends is like beyond you can imagine. So I'm gonna show you the study board here. Subject is orange color, object pink, verb blue, M is miscellaneous work. So let's look at this simple sentence. 2021 학년도 대학 수학 능력 시험일이 19일 앞으로 다가왔습니다. This one there is no space. I wonder it's because I changed something. Sometimes the space gets removed. Okay. What is the main verb? 주요 동사가 뭐예요? When you read a sentence, try to think about what may be the subject, object, and main verb. This is one of the tricks to dissect the sentence structures. So, as you can see, main verb is what? At the end of the sentence always. So, dictionary form is 다가오다. You probably know this verb, 오다 by itself, which is to come. 다가오다 means approach. 다가오다. Coming up or approach. But they are using past tense have approached. It doesn't mean it's in the past. Because you look at 앞으로, 앞 means front, right? In front of, towards the front. In this context, it doesn't mean towards the front as in location. This is more like in the date-wise, calendar-wise. It's coming up. So, 앞으로 다가왔습니다. Have been approaching. So, we are approaching. It's coming up, what? On the 19th. It's coming up in the future, 19th. That's right. 19일. Okay? I use Chinese number system, 19일. 19th. But let's look at the subject here. What is approaching? We see this verb to approach. What is approaching? Do you see any subject noun that you can guess? I see one subject particle here. 시험 1일. Potentially, this is the subject noun, right? 시험 1일. I don't see any other subject particles. Maybe something's omitted. You never know. But we can certainly tell object is not there because we don't need an object. Something is approaching. And that's complete sentence on its own. Okay? 시험일, test, date. 시험일, test date or date is approaching up, coming up on the 19th. But we have way more nouns here. Korean people like to combine nouns and sometimes like so many nouns to make another big nouns. So here let's break it down. 대학, this is university. Okay? 수학. When you look at 수학, normally we associate to math. Mathematics. But in this context, it's not. It's associated to Chinese symbol. 수학 means pursuing knowledge. If you look up this noun in Naver Dictionary, it's gonna come up pursue knowledge. Okay? And 능력. 능력, ability. 시험 is test, we know. 시험, they repeat the same thing. So, university, pursue knowledge, ability, test. This is called 수능. You look at this syllable, 수. You look at this syllable, 능. Korean people commonly call this test as 수능. We don't say the full name. We simply just say 수능. 수능. 대학 수학 능력 시험. Okay? 2021 학년도. 2021 학년도. I write it down. 2021. Right? 학년도. Okay. 학년도 is already written. 2021. 2021. 학년도. 학 has meaning of academy or school, right? School year. 년 by itself is also year, but when you see 도, this is a specific year. That year. Okay? So 2020년도, the year of 2020. Or 2020년. You can just say 2020. Okay? But here, 2021 academic year. The year of 2021. Because they're taking the test, 수능 test, for that year to enter into university, right? So this year, what they're taking is actually 2021 academic year 수능 test. So this is actually simple sentence, but at the same time, it's got a lot of difficult as in some words that you don't get to see in speaking format. So that's why it could be a little challenging, but let's read again. 2021 학년도 대학 수학 능력 시험 시험일이 19일 앞으로 다가왔습니다. So this university test day of the 2021 year is approaching, is coming up. You can think of this one as just coming up on the 19th. 어때요? 괜찮아요? 처음 거는 좀 쉽죠? 그러면은 2번으로 갈게요. 2번. But before we get to it, I'm gonna go back to the article. Look at this. Actually, right below, this is the second. I get to show all the pictures later, but so far this is the second, and then this is gonna be the third one. So stay tuned. 신종 코로나 바이러스 감염증 코로나19 여파로 2주가량 연기된 수능은 12월 3일 시행됩니다. 다시요. 신종 코로나 바이러스 감염증 코로나19 여파로 2주가량 연기된 수능은 12월 3일 시행됩니다. I don't pronounce it as dwep, right? It's hard to say 됩니다. This one ends up being 됩니다, M sound. Okay? I read slowly. 신종 코로나 바이러스 감염증 코로나19 여파로 2주가량 연기된 수능은 12월 3일 시행됩니다. So this is the second sentence. 두 번째 문장이에요. I'm gonna shrink myself here. Tiny. So tiny here. 신종. Okay, let's look at main verb again. 주요 동사가 뭐예요? 주요 동사, main verb. Main verb goes at the end of the sentence. 그쵸? Since this is article, you may see more of the formal speech or written format. Okay? 시행되다. This is the verb. 시행되다. This is a verb. Take effect. Take effect. But you don't need an object. 되다, it means usually passive. Okay? So you don't need an object. So in this sentence again, we don't see an object. We just look at subject noun. What subject noun do you see here? 2주가량 연기된 수능은 I see one subject particle. Maybe this one. We already talked about 수능 is the test name, right? We don't have to repeat the same long name. 수능. Test takes effect. Possibly, right? So let's look at the first one. This is long, but it's actually very simple too. We have gone through this in different articles. 신종, new species. 종 has the meaning of species. 신 means new. You already know this virus. coronavirus. 감염증. infectious disease. infectious disease. 코로나19. 여파로. Look up this noun. 여파. And 로. This means as or by, towards, has different meanings. In this context, what would that be? Maybe by. Okay. 여파. Look up this noun. This is aftermath. Aftermath. So something that happens and then what causes as a consequences, right? That's aftermath. So by the aftermath of this virus, what happened? 2주가량. 2주. Again, I use Chinese number system. 2주. 2주가 뭐예요? 주 means week. Right? 월, 달. 월 or 달, that's month. 년, year. 2주. 2 weeks. 가량. Oh, I see. This week. If you want to say this week, 이번 주. In Korean, we don't say 이 주 as this week. We say this time week. 이번 주. Or this weekend. 이번 주말. 그쵸? We say this time. 2주 means 2 weeks. And certainly when you see the number itself, it means 2, right? So yeah, Rachel, you're just listening, right? That's why. 가량. 가량 means approximately. Okay? It means approximately. 연기된. The verb here is 연기되다. Again, 되다, right? Passive. Passive. Describing 수능. 수능, the SAT test that is delayed. 연기되다 is to be postponed. Is it postponed or postponed? It's a P sound, right? I have to double check. I always get confused. It's postponed, right? Anyway, delayed. I'll use delayed. SAT that is delayed approximately 2 weeks by the aftermath of the infectious disease. That SAT what? Takes effect on what? On the 3rd of December. Postpone. 감사합니다, 안토넬라. P. Look at here. This is very fascinating. Why? 12월. In English, 12월 is December, right? As you know. English words don't associate to numbers. So that's why I've noticed some Western people, when I ask them about the number of the months associated to the English words, they have hard time. Sometimes they have to actually count it. But in Korean, just the language by itself, when we think of December, we know it's on the 12th month. August, 8th month, right? Or July 7th. Think about it. February 2nd, right? So that's very easy for Korean because we already associate number to months of the year in Korean. So 12월 December, 3일 the 3rd. So this is very easy. Pretty easy. So we don't have object again. Main subject 수능, that is delayed, right? And main verb is 시행되다. SAT, that is delayed approximately 2 weeks by the aftermath of the new virus, coronavirus, test effect on December 3rd. What's that mean? In the first sentence, we said it was the 19th, right? 19th, which is November 19th. November 19th, if you look at the calendar, 2 weeks later, that is December 3rd. So 19th was supposed to be the day of SAT. But something happened. It's delayed by 2 weeks. So now, instead of November 19th, they're gonna take the exam on the 3rd of December. 질문이 없으면 3번으로 가요. 그러면 제가 기사를 보여드릴게요. Here, the next one. 다음 문장. 수능을 12월에 치르는 것은 1994년 실시된 첫 수능 이후 처음 있는 일입니다. 수능을 12월에 치르는 것은 1993년 실시된 첫 수능 이후 처음 있는 일입니다. 천천히 더 읽어볼게요. 수능을 12월에 치르는 것은 1993년 실시된 첫 수능 이후 처음 있는 일입니다. So here, so this one, it, right? When you read it by itself, it's D sound on the bottom, right? It. But when I read them together, does it sound like D? It's hard to say it는, right? It ends up being N sound, 있는. One last time. 수능을 12월에 치르는 것은 1993년 실시된 첫 수능 이후 처음 있는 일입니다. So we go back to our study board. 주요 동사가 뭐예요? 주요 동사, main verb. At the end of the sentence, 입니다. This is a formal speech of 이다 verb, right? 이다 is to be. 이다. I have a video in my channel if you want to know how to conjugate to formal speech or the polite speech. You can check it out after. But this is the dictionary form, 이다, to be. And when you see to be, we know this is the object noun. That's how Korean sentence works. We use be verb with object noun. It's what? 일. And is there any subject? What is 일? What is 일? Do you see any subject particle? I see here one. I see potentially. You may think this is a subject particle, but it's not. It's actually verb adjective. Okay? You need to use subject particle with noun. You cannot use verb, 는. This is verb adjective, right? And you may also wonder, how about this? Why do we have another object particle? Maybe it's part of this subject noun, right? So, let's figure out. 수능, the test, SAT test. 수능을 12월에 치르는 것은 12월에 December, in December, time particle. 치르다. Look up this verb, 치르다. 치르다. Adjective. Again, this is just like 있는, right? This is verb adjective describing 것. This is one way to make a verb into a noun. So this is actually subject noun. 치르다. This is taking an exam. But it's more like exam as in event. Because another verb that we use, take exam. Take exam. We use the verb 보다 or 치다. 시험을 보다, 시험을 치다. We see exam or we hit the exam. That's how we say in Korean. But in this case, 치르다, it's more like 행사를 치르다. You're providing the event. 수능을 치르다. You're providing the event of 수능. Okay? So, providing the event of 수능, the SAT test in December. So you can just think of it as taking an exam in December. You're welcome. Bye, Rachel. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. 1993년 1993 the year, right? 1993 실시된. The verb here, verb adjective describing a noun. Look up this verb. 실시되다. 실시되다. To be implemented. Here. Also means take effect. But be implemented. What? 첫 수능. The first SAT. This is the first SAT. 이후, since, after. 처음 있는 일입니다. This is 처음, first time. The first time. 있는, 있다 verb describing event. 일 means event. It has many different meanings. Either number one, or day, or task, right? Like duty, or event. Probably you don't see every word that I wrote here. Task. Here I will use event. First time existing event. What's that mean? It's the event that we have for the first time. Who can sum up the translation? Here, we know this is the subject noun, main object, main verb. You got it. Taking SAT in December is the event that we have for the first time since the first SAT that was implemented 1993. So we can guess the first test that happened in South Korea in this format, SAT format, was in 1993. Ever since that year, this is the first time we have SAT in December. So what's that mean? We can almost assume that this year is very unique year. I can assume everybody feels that way. We are living in a historical moment. Things that never happened before. It happens. All happens this year. Okay? 질문이 없으면 4번으로 넘어갈게요. You know, I encourage you to rewatch the live stream because I go through, I try to go through slowly, take time, but at the same time, some people may wanna revisit and make notes and study, thoroughly study. Okay? So the next one is the fourth one, but I'm gonna show you the article. I think we have some pictures. This is very fascinating for me too. 1993년. Okay? 1993년. But isn't it interesting? They had the SAT in August. Really? It's always in the winter time. At least for the time that I remember. I took mine in the winter time. Or I guess fall. So this is like the first SAT. Cheering, yeah! Okay? And then this is the testing site. Teacher is providing paper. This kind of school system or the layout, I don't know, just don't quote me on that, but I heard or I learned that it was implemented by the Japanese education system because we're colonized back in the day. So the way we sit, the way we kind of wear uniforms, they're not wearing uniforms, I don't know why, but it's similar, very similar culture to Japanese. Even the desk. I want to tell you something. When I was in elementary school, sometimes we have a siren in the neighborhood. Pew, pew, pew. That means everybody has to get under the desk. It's more like the practice of the case of war. In case war happens, what are you gonna do as a child? Teacher tell you, get underneath the desk. I don't know if kids still do that, but at least in my time we did it. Like get under the desk. 1994년. It's 1 year after the first year. So this is the next sentence here. We can come back to look at the pictures later. So this is the fourth one. 그동안 교육과정과 입시제도, 시험일은 달랐지만 수험생을 맞이하는 고사장의 분위기는 한결같았습니다. 그동안 교육과정과 입시제도. You see dot here, the middle center dot, you pause. This is another way to make compound noun in Korean, in writing. You see more often in article. 시험일은 달랐지만 수험생을 맞이하는 고사장의 분위기는 한결같았습니다. I read one more time, slowly. 그동안 교육 과정과 입시 제도, 시험일은 달랐지만 수험생을 맞이하는 고사장의 분위기는 한결같았습니다. 질문 있으면 type it in the live chat at any time. Feel free to let me know. So let's go back to our storyboard. The next, we have 5 sentences to go through today, as you know. So this is the second last. So 주요 동사가 뭐예요 here? 주요 동사. You probably know it by now. 주요, main verb. 한결같다. Look up this word. 한결같다. You probably see this verb 같다 by itself. It's to be same. To be same, or it could be it seems like, or here 한결같다. This is to be unchanged. 한결같다. 넌 한결같아. You never change. You are consistent the way you are. 한결같다. So, 한결같았습니다. Something is not changed. What is not changed? So we can guess this might be the subject noun, subject particle, right? And this is another subject particle, but can you guys see possible conjunction? I told you as we go through the later sentences, it's gonna be a little more difficult. But really depends on if you know conjunction. Hi, twice, Diane. Welcome. So you know conjunction here. 지만. Okay? Verb root, 지만. This is past tense. 달랐지만. So if you look up this verb, what are you gonna look up? 다르다. 다르다. Let's move here. 다르다. To be different. So they're saying something is different, but something is not changed. Right? So they're comparing one to the other in contrast, by contrast. One was different, but the other one was not changed. So what are we talking about here? 그동안 means in the meantime, or you can think of it as almost so far. 그동안. For the time since the first SAT. So far. 그동안. Meanwhile, what happened? 교육 과정. This is a noun. 교육. Education. 과정이 뭐죠? Process. It's all good nouns, good vocabulary. Put it in your Quizlet, flashcards. I recommended this app before. Quizlet is amazing because it reads the sentences or nouns in Korean to your language. Education process, 과. What's the mean? This is and. And noun and noun. Okay? I have a video about and in my channel. I go through how to connect noun to noun, verb to verb, and sentence to sentence. You can check it out after. So 입시 제도. 입시 by itself. Look up this word. Entrance. What did I write here? Entrance examination. 입학 시험. Probably it's coming from 입학 시험. entrance examination. 시험일. We already talked about test day. So it's got a lot of nouns again. So meanwhile, education process and entrance examination system. You can think of it as N again. And 시험일, test day were different. As you know, these days we take SAT in November, but the first SAT we just looked at the picture was in August. So maybe test day were not always the same. But so far what I remember in my time, like I told you, it was in November. So 교육과정과 입시제도 시험일 달랐지만 those were different. But Hi 뿌야, welcome. 잘 지냈어요? 뿌야는요? 수험생. This is test taker. 수험생. 맞이하다. Verb adjective describing a noun. So 맞이하다가 뭐죠? 맞이하다. To greet. Okay? Greet test takers. 고사장의 분위기. This is the subject now. So 고사장의 possessive apostrophe s. 고사장. Hello Marielle. Welcome. So 고사장. This is examination hall. Okay, examination hall. That's what it says in Naval Dictionary. Exam hall. The location where you take test. 분위기. Atmosphere. Right? Has not changed. So the atmosphere of enthusiasm. People are enthusiastic about the test. It's a very important test. It can change your life. If you're just one day of the exam, can change the rest of your life, right? So that's why it's very critical for the family, for the student, for the family tree, I guess. Not sure why. It's good to be emphasizing education, but this is a bit up to the top, like over the top. That's how we say. So let's look at it again. Meanwhile, education process and entrance examination system test day were different, but exam hall's atmosphere that greets test taker. So this is the adjective clause. Has not changed. 이건 어때요? 괜찮아요? Lots of difficult words, but the sentence structure wise, if you break it down, it's not that bad, right? Then we go through today's last sentence. This is actually the biggest, the longest, potentially the most difficult. But we're gonna get through it together in a second. So let's go back to the article. Look at this enthusiasm. They have placards with their high school. So even the competition between high school. Oh, our high school produces the best quality students. They're maybe having competition. 서울대. In front of Seoul University. Look at 고등학교. This is high school. This is Korea University. Wow. 연대 University. 연세대. They're cheering. Test takers. Good luck. You can do it, right? People are like lining up for the test takers. You gotta be successful. Good luck. Go, go, fighting, right? And then parents, they're waiting outside. Oh, please, please, my daughter and son will pass this test. Have a high mark. It's crazy. Whether you're religious or not, you pray. When you need something to be come true as a dream, you always pray. A lot of parents go to temples in South Korea. Even if you're not Buddhist, you still go to temples and then you pray to the Buddha. Please have my son, daughter to pass this test. Sometimes in a case they don't visit once. They visit like 100 days in a row. A lot of dedication from family, right? And then go, go, fighting! You can do it. The police officer is giving a ride, I guess. Okay, maybe actually I had similar experience. It was not police officer. Now I had to take a test, but it was not Sunung test. It was a TOEIC test. But I was late. So I got into a cab and then I told him I'm late to my test. You know what he did? He just broke all the rules. He ran through the red light. He's like swivel around, like U-turn and ping, and then, okay, you can go take a test. Even though he doesn't have to do that, he could get a ticket. He could actually get pulled over by police. Who knows? But people are very supporting, whether you're a stranger or not, in order for you to be successful. See, police officer dropping her off. Go ahead. Good luck. And another, this is like a Korean ghost of card. They made a hole for their face, and this means, I guess, good luck. I don't play the card, and they're bowing. So many interesting photos, right? They're holding their hands. You see, they're praying. Please. Yeah, they're kind of chanting as a group. Probably these are jazz band. You can do it. This may actually shock you. In other countries, I don't know, maybe some Asian countries, but at least Korean culture, we are very transparent. Everyone knows what ranking you're at every test. It's not just about Sunung. They know you passed or not, or they know what kind of score you got. But even at every single test in school, they know what ranking you're at. What ranking you're at in your classroom, what ranking you're at in your entire school in your grade. So you always know where you stand. So that's why, you have to get better, And then this is not about the score, but this is about date and where to go. But this just reminds me of that time, They put it out there, Okay, your name 정인영. Okay, what score are you? It's very transparent, but a lot of pressure. So I think we're gonna get to our last sentence pretty soon. Where are we? So more pictures. Okay. Oh, it's like a b-boy dance. Chanting. More chanting. It's a good collage of pictures. 2018, 19. This is 2020, which is last year it happened for the entrance of 2020, right? So here, now we are at 2021 entrance exam. So this is the final sentence. This one. 다가오는 2021 학년도 대학 수학 능력 시험엔 코로나19 방역 대책으로 책상마다 거리두기를 하고 칸막이가 설치되며 수험생들은 마스크를 쓴 채 시험을 치를 예정입니다. Right? So when you know the conjunction, you can kind of pause after conjunction. Because this is quite long sentence. 다가오는 2021 학년도 대학 수학 능력 시험엔 I pause there. This is like the not conjunction, particle. I feel like it's time to pause. 코로나19 방역 대책으로 I raise the intonation. 책상마다 거리두기를 하고 pause. 칸막이가 설치되며 pause. 수험생들은 마스크를 쓴 채 a bit of pause. 시험을 치를 예정입니다. Again. 다가오는 2021 학년도 대학 수학 능력 시험엔 코로나19 방역 대책으로 책상마다 거리두기를 하고 칸막이가 설치되며 수험생들은 마스크를 쓴 채 시험을 치를 예정입니다. Even though it's a long sentence, but it may be actually easy because we can break it down by conjunction. So main verb, 주요 동사가 뭐죠? 주요 동사 입니다. At the end of the sentence. Okay? We already gone through it. What is the dictionary form of 입니다? 이다. 이다. So be verb with object. 예정. Look up this word. 예정. This is expectation, or it's been scheduled that way. So it's expectation. Plan to be. And what is the subject? We see one subject here. And what else? Do you see the conjunction? I think I kind of gave you a hint while I was reading. What conjunction do you see here? Try to answer in the live chat because I don't want to give out answers too fast. I know that you're following, then it's good pace, right? So possibly 며, okay. 설치되다. It could be a verb. This is a sentence conjunction, right? 며. Do you see another one? But in the meantime, while you're finding another conjunction, I see subject here. Possibly this subject is linked to this verb, right? Another conjunction, the third word on the first line. You mean this? This is a conjunction. This one is more like and subject particle, but I'm gonna use it as a comparison particle. As for, this is time. This is time particle. TP. As for this. And what else? Do you see this? 고? Could be conjunction. Could be conjunction, right? Then verb. Go and conjunction. They're doing something. Doing something? What? Doing something. But we don't know who's doing what. I don't see subject. So I think we're kind of break it into 으로. Oh, this could be conjunction, but this is noun. Noun conjunction. By. As. But you can certainly break it apart. If you want to break it even smaller chunk. By, as. Noun conjunction. How about this? Do you know this? 채. This. And 쓰다 is the verb. 쓰다. 엔채. Conjunction. In the state of doing this verb. It's got a lot, right? Okay, I think we got pretty much everything. So let's look at the first one. 다가오는. Approaching. We already went through the verb. 다가오다 verb. Approaching. What is approaching? 2021 year of SAT exam. As for this, right? As for this noun, SAT for 2021, that is approaching. Corona-19, we already know. 방역, 대책. Two nouns are combined. 방역 is, what did I write here? Prevention of epidemics. Prevention of epidemics. 대책, measure. So prevention of epidemics, measure. By or as. As COVID-19 prevention of epidemics measure. What do they do? You can guess because it's happening almost everywhere in the world. You want to do social distancing and have some barriers and wear masks and all those things. It's just the way you get to learn how we write in Korean. Okay? So here 책상마다, noun 마다. 마다 has meaning of each. Each desk. 책상 means desk, where they sit. 거리두기를 하다. Do 거리두기. 거리 means distance. 두다 is actually the verb to put distance. They made it into a noun. 거리두기. Putting distance, as in social distancing in English. So they want to put social distancing each desk. Put more distance. And conjunction. And conjunction. 칸막이. This is barrier. Or you can say divider. The verb here is 설치되다. Passive. We already talked about. 되다 means passive. 설치되다. To be what? Installed. Barrier is installed. While barrier is installed, what? 수험생들, test takers. This is plural. Okay? So, test takers. What do? Wear mask. This is object. 마스크. English word mask. Same. We use the verb 쓰다. 걔 모자를 쓰다. Put on a hat. Wear a hat. The same verb. We say 마스크를 쓰다. We don't say 마스크를 입다. 입다 is another verb that's for more like t-shirts or dress. Those things. Here, wear mask. 마스크를 쓴 채. In the state of. While in the state of wearing mask. Okay? 시험을 치를 예정이다. 시험 is exam. 치다 is the verb we already mentioned. 치다, take a test. Future adjective describing 예정. So, this is really long sentence. But, do you know what the subject, main subject that is related to 예정? I don't think there is. Possibly this entire section here may be adjective clause to describe 예정. It is the expectation that as Corona prevention of epidemics measure, as those, we put social distancing each desk and divider is installed while divider is installed. While in the state of wearing mask. So test takers wear mask and take the exam. How about the first one? As for SAT of 2021 that's coming up. Right? It's a lot. But if you just look at the high level structure, you just step away a little bit. Look at the high level. So this is as for SAT of 2021 that's coming up. It's the expectation of all this. As Corona-19 prevention of infectious epidemics measures, do social distancing each desk, and while barrier divider is installed, while in the state of what? Test takers wear mask, take exam. So in the middle of this one, this is just detailed information. 다가오는 2021 학년도 대학 수학 능력 시험엔, that's why I pause here, 코로나19 방역 대책으로 kind of pause, raise intonation, 책상마다 거리 두기를 하고 pause, 칸막이가 설치되며 pause, 수험생들은 마스크를 쓴 채 slightly pause, 시험을 치를 예정입니다. I did a slight pause because this part almost linked to this subject. Maybe that's why. This subject is wearing mask and take test. 질문 있어요? I feel like you guys are all so advanced and following me so well. Either you're very smart or I'm a great teacher. Or it could be both. No questions. Like I mentioned, I encourage you to study on your own because there's so much I can do for you to remember, right? This is just giving you how you can approach long sentences. Only thing I teach you here, it's just giving you a way to study Korean. So for you, for the rest of the sentences in the article, if you want to study on your own, break it down too and see if you can get it. Oh, I see. By installing dividers between each desk. I think, I mean, yes. They install the dividers each desk, but they don't actually say that, but we can assume. They put social distancing each desk. This is installed. Okay, so we can assume they're probably putting the divider per desk. 그렇군요. Nice. Because in speaking format, when we look at either lyrics or let's say K-drama movies, it's not really long sentences. That's why you don't get to experience long sentence breakdown, but sometimes this is good. It's not the most effective if your goal is to be able to communicate with Korean. You may actually learn some new vocabulary, but they're not gonna be used as frequently as, let's say, going out, hang out, and things that you guys normally talk about when you see your friends, right? So really depends on your goal and circumstances. But this is one of the ways for you to improve Korean in one aspect. Get used to long sentences and familiar with difficult sentence structure. And then learn some new vocabulary. Then probably you're gonna improve your Korean in a different way, but it doesn't mean you're negating the other part. You're improving as a whole your knowledge of Korean language. So hopefully this video was useful to you. If it was, don't forget to leave a comment and give it a like, and share this video with your friends and family who are learning Korean as well, and try to encourage each other. Let's study this, let's study that together, right? So good to have study buddy. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I see you guys next Saturday 12 p.m. Eastern Time. 그럼 감사해요. 잘 보내세요. 안녕.